All right. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to our monthly meeting. I do know that we will have some people joining us a little later on because the Progressive Democrats are currently hearing from Congressman Garamendi. The scheduling issues couldn't be helped, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Before we jump into our land acknowledgement, I know we have a number of guests who are currently present. Glenn, do you want to take the lead in introducing our guests, who I believe are our new delegates from the AD11?
Certainly, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Glenn Lovell of the Solano Democratic Workers Alliance. Just want to take a quick moment for those who are on this call who are AD or ADEMS delegates. All were members of the Progressive Workers Alliance and will be happy to briefly address this body and the local Democratic Party regarding their advocacy and the good work that they would like to pursue over at CDP, at convention and beyond. Back to you, Chair, on how you'd like the order on that.
I think if we would just have them go, probably I don't have the list in front of me, so let's just say go in alphabetical order and just, a sentence or two from each one.
Okay, I will call them off in the order that I'm seeing in the list of participants. Audrey, if you'd like to go ahead. Stand by one moment.
Thanks. Sorry, I couldn't unmute. Hi, everyone. My name is Audrey Jakes, and I am the organizing chair for the Fairfield-Sassoon Unified Teachers Association. I'm on leave from my classroom. I've been out of my classroom for 1 year of full-time organizing for our union. I was recently an ADEMS, elected to ADEMS delegate, so I just wanted to say hello, introduce myself. My priorities going forward for the CDP include education, gun control, reproductive rights, and affordable worker housing. Thanks so much.
And thank you, Audrey. And then, Chair, if we can recognize Cassandra next.
Yeah, I think I'll just, like I said, just hand it over to you. Call on them in order, please.
Understood. Go ahead, Cassandra.
Hi, everybody. Well, my name is Cassandra James, and you lose some and you win some. So I'm happy to be a part of this delegate, be a part of this slate. And my priorities for the upcoming year will be, again, equity, access, and also housing and justice involved. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Cassandra. And then Julia, I know you're a member on this committee, but you're an ADEMS as well. If you want to go ahead.
Julia Roudson-Thomas, just recently elected to the ADEMS. I am currently the vice president of Northern Solano Democratic Club. I head the fundraising committee there. I am really excited for this opportunity to represent you all at the Democratic Party. My priorities are housing affordability, which means increasing housing everywhere, and a lot of more high-income jobs.
Thanks, Julia. And then Mike, if you want to go ahead. Stand by one moment. Mike Tebow, if you want to go ahead.
You're on mute, Mike.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Tebow. I serve on the Vallejo Education Association's executive board as the PAC chair. I'm also a delegate to the Napa Solano Labor Council. I've been a lifelong Democrat since I first registered to vote in my high school government class way back in 1988. Dukakis was the first president I voted for. And I'm happy to have been elected to represent my fellow Democrats to the state party. And my issues are workers' rights and affordable housing and education.
Thank you, Mike. And then Chuck, if you'd like to go ahead.
Good evening, all. My name is Chuck Leonard. I'm a political representative for Plumbers and Steam Fitters, Local 342. I am a Solano County resident. I live in Glen Cove. I'm a 40-year member of my building trades union this year. And I'm a staunch believer in coalition building. The relationships between our environmental justice and labor community has to be strong as we look to the future to tackle carbon neutrality, net zero, water, a multitude of issues. And I believe if we have labor and the environmental community working together, and we can be the quickest to Joe Biden's $1 trillion. And so we are bent on doing that. We have a labor climate task force over in Alameda and Contra Costa County that we're working on. And so I'm excited about the opportunity here. And I'm also excited about the opportunities we have as we go after SURF grants and infrastructure money. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. And then Ricky, if you want to go ahead next.
Okay, my name is Ricky Jerkson Jr. So I'm a Solano County native, raised here, basically lived almost all my entirety of my 38 of my 39 years of existence here in Solano County. I am a product of the public school system, Fairfield Sassoon Unified School District. Thankful to be an Armio alumni, Green Valley Middle School alumni, Sheldon alumni. So basically blessed and humbled to be living here in this beautiful area we call Solano County. I'm currently a member of SEIU, which I've been a member for about 6 years. Prior to that, I was a member of AFSCME over in Contra Costa County for 3.5 years. So I have a strong union background, very into and promoting the causes of unions, workers' rights. Some of my priorities for the election, I want to thank all of you for voting for myself and my colleagues. Definitely here to make a difference in the community for you all. Some of the priorities I have is broadening the appeal for us as Democrats, California Democrats, with the millennials as well as Gen Z. It's really important that we make sure to broaden our appeal, not just here in the North Bay, but also in the inland areas, the Valley, as well as both north and south of here, because it's really important as us to not just appeal to our group here, but to appeal to everyone. And I'm also, one of my priorities is also for environmental rights, making sure that we have a strong, clean drinking water for everyone, as well as strengthening our workers' rights here in the county. Well, whether you're working as a city employee, whether you're working as a state employee, or whether you're working as a county employee, it's really important that we have rights and that we're fair and equitable to everyone. Thank you.
And thank you, Ricky. Justina, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Justina Fout, and sorry, I'm on my phone tonight. And obviously, I got one of the new elected ADEMs. And my focus, first of all, let me just say I really appreciate Glenn's work around really collaborating with the Labor and Democratic Party together. This is something a little different we've done before, and I really appreciate it. I think it's a good thing for us. And my concern in terms of politics is obviously labor, healthcare, so I would have to say, those are some of my major things.
Thank you so much, Justina. And then Vernil, if you want to go ahead.
Good evening. Everyone know me. I'm Vernil Brumfield. I'm currently a part of the Central Committee. I serve as the Northern Vice Chair, and some of my issues that I am very passionate about is about the environmental justice, senior justice, housing. And I will continue to uphold the democratic values as best as I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernil. And then last person that I see in here is our one and only elected e-board delegate, whom you all know. Tiffany, go ahead.
Hi, family. I'm in 3 meetings at once, so I wanted just to pop in here to one, say hello and thank you. So my name is Tiffany Jones. I currently serve as your Southern Vice Chair with the Solano County Democratic Central Committee. This is my second term as an ADEM. I want to formally thank everybody for entrusting me with your votes at the Democratic Party level. And also, you know, to my slate, you guys are awesome. I am so excited about the work that we will be able to do. This is historic for this assembly district because we're the first delegates in the newly formed AD 11, and being able to work alongside of individuals along with this central committee on issues that are affecting our district are of key. And some of my priorities are still going to be the same. I really am an educator by trade. Y'all know that I love kids, but being able to create opportunities for young people. And then also on the other flip side of this, being able to see where the job market is going to be going for our young people and making sure that they have access to those career pathways. Housing is a big thing for me as well now. Healthcare services, i.e. mental health support, anything around disabilities is of key to me. I am, of course, you know, very much interested in our workers and making sure that our workers are paid well and compensated and have a safe environment to do their jobs. And then also with the educational side, making sure that our young people have access to these great jobs that are available to them in the labor area. And so that's kind of what my priorities are as far as the Democratic Party. I still really want to serve on the committees that I am a part of in the caucuses, which is the Black Caucus, Labor Caucus, Women's Caucus, with so many Hispanic Chicano Caucus, the Disabilities Caucus, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll be in the meeting here, but I'll also be paying attention to this meeting. I'm on Zoom right now. But again, thank you all for everything that you continue to do and the support, and go to AD 11 with Bomb.
Thank you, Tiffany. And then, Mr. Chair, I believe that is all of our ADEMs in attendance on this meeting. I know that the Progressive Workers Alliance, all the 14 of the ADEMs elected for this district, are honored to have had the support of the Democratic community, bringing progressives, workers, and all other parts of the Democratic-based constituencies together to represent this area. All will be excited to help represent in the California Democratic Party in this convention and onward through the next 2 years. And we'll all be honored to collaborate and have any conversations desired with the broader Democratic Party and based in this area to work together for the important issues that we have ahead of us.
All right. Well, thank you, Glenn, and thank you all for joining us and introducing yourself tonight for those of us who haven't already met all of you. And since Glenn was so busy speaking, I'd like to ask him to continue and deliver the land acknowledgement once Tom displays it.
Sure thing. We'll stand by as that gets displayed. Okay, we'll go ahead and proceed with our land acknowledgement for today. Land acknowledgement, we pause to acknowledge that Solano County Democratic Central Committee of the Democratic Party sits on the land of the Miwok and Patwin people. We remember their continued connection to this region and give thanks to them for allowing us to live, work, learn, and pray in their traditional homeland. We offer our respect to their elders and the Miwok and Patwin people of the past and present.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you doing that. And I am looking We do appear to have a quorum present. So moving, our next item on the agenda would be approval of the minutes from the January meeting. So I will entertain a motion to that effect. I see Tiffany's hand at the top of the list, so
Motion to approve the minutes.
okay, and Lynette,
Lynette Henley seconds.
all right. So unless there's any changes, what suggested, if we could bring that poll up.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to make sure that our guests understand that the voting on these items are just for Central Committee members.
Yes, I appreciate you bringing that. It should be self-evident, but yes, this business is conducted by Central Committee members only. So guests are welcome to be present, but please don't be throwing your votes into the mix unless you're already a voting member. And the poll?
Yeah, it's wandering here in just a moment.
Do we need to go to a show of hands, Tom?
No, there you go.
Okay.
Just ignore the untitled question. Well, you can't even answer them, so never mind. Except, I guess you can.
Tom, it won't let you vote unless you make a choice though for that unlimited
Okay.
question.
Then just make something. It's not going to count.
Everyone will pass their ballots.
Right. So has everyone voted who wants to vote? And who can vote?
I believe we've given sufficient time, so.
Yep. 1 minute and 30 right now. It passes with 17 of 18 votes.
Right. Next up, tonight's agenda. Does anyone have any additions, deletions, corrections to the agenda that they wish to bring forward? Not seeing any hands up. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Tom, second by Kevin. All those, well, please open the poll.
It looks as if we have had everyone vote.
Okay,
You can be ending the poll. And it passes.
excellent. Appreciate that. It is 7:22 by my clock, so we're going to open public comment. This is for guests to the meeting. Comments are limited to 2 minutes each. Comment time cannot exceed 30 minutes in total. So does any of our guests wish to make any public comment? So please raise your hand. Don't see any hands up. Okay, with that, public comment is closed at 7:22. Moving on, are there any announcements at this time that anyone wishes to make? Bonnie, I see your hand up first.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, everyone. Corey sent out an email today about an event that will be in April, which provides an opportunity to learn how we can take advantage of the funding offered by the Inflation Reduction Act and the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which have made billions of dollars in incentives available. Join former Vice President Al Gore and the Climate Reality Project for a free online, self-paced, on-demand training that will be held April 6th through the 20th, called Power Up: From Acts to Action. Let's leverage the IRA and the Infrastructure Act for climate action now. The training will help community leaders, elected officials, government staff, and individuals take the guesswork out of these historic laws and to bring real climate solutions to our families, neighborhoods, and community. And the deadline to register is in 1 week, March 1st, even though the event is in April. I'll put the info in the chat and the link to the page where you can find out more. And I appreciate your time and really glad to hear some of our ADEMs are focused on bringing labor and climate solutions together, which is so important right now. So thank you. Thank you for your time again.
Thank you. And then Lynette, I saw your hand next.
Thank you. I just want to share with the council, many of you are Central Committee and any DIMs that are listening in. My brother, Gregory Allen Howard, passed on January 27th. I'll put the article, one of the articles, into the chat. And the reason I bring him forward, I want to thank the Central Committee. I did receive flowers on behalf of the Central Committee acknowledging my loss, and I truly appreciate that. But Greg wrote the movie that most people are familiar with, Remember the Titans, which talked about desegregation in Virginia. And we went through desegregation in Charleston when we were both young. I was in 2nd grade, he was in 6th or 8th grade. Anyway, to see that still going on in 1970. So he was in our family, we called him the Renaissance man. You'll see about the many things that he was involved in, but Remember the Titans was his first movie. He also wrote Ali, and Harriet was his last movie. So that's the link to the chat.
All right. Thank you for putting that in there. And then Julia, I see your hand up next.
Thank you. I just wanted to let everybody know we are at Northern Solano Democratic Club is having a fundraiser on March 19th at Jeannie White's house. So I'm putting the link in the chat and we'd love to see all of you there.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Jeannie, I see your hand up next.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to make an announcement that within the next 2 or 3 months, it looks like the Northern Solano Democratic Club will be having Congressman Adam Schiff as our featured speaker. This will be open to all of the clubs in the Central Committee to come and listen to Congressman Schiff's hopefully ideas about his campaign, his vision for leading California as one of the candidates running for the California Senate. As soon as I know what month he will be coming, I will be reaching out to each of the clubs and will certainly share the Zoom link with each and every club so that we can all have the opportunity to learn more about this, our first candidate. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that information with us. Right. And I see no further hands up. So with that, I will move on to our treasurer for the treasurer's report.
Okay, so I didn't get the report done until this morning, but Corey sent it out for me, so you should all have gotten it. There wasn't a lot going on. We got some dues for 2022, and there's still 3 people out there. And we also got some dues for 2023, but they aren't technically due until April. But if you feel compelled to pay them early, the link for both federal and state is at the bottom of the treasurer's report. So if you're paying with your own personal funds, use the Fed link. If your club is paying or your boss or anybody but your personal funds or for your alternate, use the state link. And if you're in question, if you're not sure, use the state link. It's always safe. State can take any amount of money or any kind of money. Fed can only take personal. And we have a total of $2,974.91 as of today in both accounts. Any questions?
Okay, and that if you could just break out for the record the balances for the federal and state separately as well.
Federal is $2,083.54 and state is $891.37.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
I think you're on mute.
Thank you. I think I clicked the wrong button when I was trying to turn my camera on. We're moving on to our officers' reports. We'll be talking about the strategic planning session further on, but I do want to thank all of you who were able to make the time to attend Saturday. We had a very productive and robust discussion. I appreciate that. In addition to preparing for that, I met with the one of the first announced candidates for the 3rd Senate District, Martha Guerrero, who is currently the mayor of West Sacramento. Had a lengthy discussion with her about her campaign, and no doubt I'll be hearing from other candidates as they make their candidacy official. That's certainly going to be a very active race coming up in 2024. Our Northern Vice Chair, Vernell, do you have anything to report?
I will wait until the fundraising committee on the agenda, if you don't have a problem with that.
All right, sounds good. I know our Southern Vice Chair had to step away for her other meeting. And our secretary is not with us. He's out of the area. So moving on to our information resource officer. Tom, you're up.
Yes, good evening. I sent out a report for the information resource officer detailing that we have paid for our Zoom account for the next year, because in conversations we've had, we've not indicated that we would be stopping the use of Zoom, and it's cheaper for us to pay for a year in advance than it is to pay month to month by over $150. So that's already been paid. So I'm asking the committee to authorize the reimbursement of those funds to myself because it went on my credit card.
I move that we reimburse Tom $305 and some odd cents. I forget the total amount. This is Paula.
305.80.
This is Lynette. I second. Which account would that come out of, Paula? The whichever one has the most money?
No, probably it would have to come out of the Fed.
Okay, thanks. I second it. This is Lynette.
Okay, John, I see your hand is up.
I raised my hand to second it, but anyways, I'll take my hand down.
Okay.
Okay.
Any
Is
other
there
questions?
any discussion or questions for Tom? All right. Seeing none, do you have a poll ready for that? I'm assuming you do.
Actually, no, I don't. I'm sorry. I was working up until 6:50 tonight, so let me quickly do that.
One would think you'd be ready to get reimbursed from your own money, but okay.
One would think, but one was also busy with other stuff for that. But hold on, it's easy enough to do. Okay, it looks as if everyone has voted. Yay, thank you.
Okay. And with that, moving on to a parliamentarian.
Thank you, Don. Good evening, colleagues, siblings. First of all, I want to congratulate all of the clubs have submitted their paperwork for renewal. I haven't had a chance to call for the bylaws committee to meet, but my first glance is they have met the letter of the requirements. So that's one thing that we will be meeting on. And then secondly, the club book that was sent out to us, we have not had a chance to review that, and that will happen in our next meeting. We will meet before our meeting in March, so that we can have a report back on that. But I'm confident that I think it was 8 clubs that we represent, all got their paperwork in and all got it in on time. So thank you to all the club reps or their designee. Our chair is their designee for his group. We have all of their paperwork in. And the other thing is your parliamentarian. Well, I'm going to switch hats and put on my Region 2 director's hat right now. I just want to thank everyone, Don, Vernil, and Margie for helping with the ADEM 11 elections, and congratulations to the ADEMs that were elected out of Solano County. I think this is the largest number we've had in a long time. So thank you for that. And realize that you're not just an ADEM for AD 11 for this side of AD 11, but for across the water too. So I hope you work with those people. And last but not least, I just want to remind you, I will not be running for re-election as your regional director. So that will be an open seat. So maybe someone from Solano County can carry on the tradition and consider running. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynette, and thank you for your service as our regional director. I know it's a challenging job, to be sure. Moving on to our elected officials reports, we are in the midst of doing transitions as the new district lines officially take effect, and new representatives are being appointed. So I know not all of them have been appointed yet. I received word this evening that Jerry Castanon will be representing Congressman Mike Thompson moving forward. We received an appointment from Senator Bill Dodd for Cassandra James. And Cassandra, did the senator's office provide you a report to give on his behalf?
No, they did not provide a report this time.
Okay. I'll just remind all of our individuals representing elected officials to ask those offices to provide you a report, preferably in writing, so that we can submit it out to the membership. Looking down my list here, Pat, do you have anything to report for Supervisor Brown?
Actually, she's not contacted me to report for her, but Anna might have something. I don't know.
Okay.
No report other than her newsletters. She sends out, as you all know, the newsletters every Friday afternoon. She should be here shortly.
Okay, and then Amber, who's representing Supervisor Williams. Do you have anything to report this month?
I do. So Supervisor Williams is still in her first 100 days. She spent this time visiting with departments and stakeholders. She just returned last week from Washington, D.C. for the NACO conference, where she was addressed by President Biden and Secretaries Pete Buttigieg and Janet Yellen. The overarching conversations during that conference were related to the Inflation Reduction Act, as well as the infrastructure bill. She'll be leaving tomorrow for Sacramento for the CSAC conference. For the CSAC new supervisor training in Sacramento. And she also wanted to request support from the party. At the last Board of Supervisors meeting, they discussed, they voted for 2 home key projects in Vallejo to support their effort to eliminate the homelessness problem. And only 3 out of the 5 Board of Supervisors voted for it. So she would ask for support from the community and the Democratic Party to show up to the Board of Supervisor meeting on February 28th to encourage Supervisors Mashburn and Vasquez to vote for those two projects. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And I had a question come into chat. Do we know why they voted no?
Not at this time, but I can get that answer for you and report back.
All right, great. All right. Moving on to our clubs. Let me take a quick look at who's here. And I realize that we're swapping hats back and forth. Matthew, it looks like you're here. Can you give a report for the Jewish Democratic Club?
Sure, and thank you so much. So we're proud to endorse an upcoming event that our club is going to co-sponsor. It's called the Century of Solidarity, Black and Jewish Allyships, and its legacies today. So, I've been doing Jewish and pro-Israel activism for the better part of a decade now. And in a series of Zoom seminars conducted by high-standing members of the ADL, I came to learn about the legacy of civil rights actors and leaders who helped take up the cause during the era of the Russian refuseniks. So if you guys don't know anything about that, it's when 2 million Jews were liberated from Russia, who were prevented from leaving by the Soviets. They were trapped in there and enduring the harsh campaigns of anti-Zionism, which is the explicit ideology that was responsible for ethnically cleansing Jews and eradicating their traditions. And come to find out, leaders like Bayard Rustin and others helped take to the streets to advocate for the liberation of these Jews. And I'm astounded that I just didn't know anything about this. The event is going to be paneled by Vlad Kaikin, a former refugee of the Soviet Union, and a higher up at the ADL, April Powers, who's Black and Jewish, Daryl M. Blocker, who was on the short list for the head of Biden's CIA, also Black and Jewish. So this is an exceptional event. We're really, really proud to be endorsing it. And it's our hope that many of you will attend. I will be posting the registration link in the chat. And we ask that all members of the Solano County Democratic Party, if able, do attend. It's on February 28th at 6:30. And we really appreciate you guys being here to learn with us.
All right, thank you. The Northern Solano Democratic Club report was submitted in writing. I did not see it go out, so we'll just follow up to make sure it got mailed out. Progressive Democrats, Carrie, do you have a report?
Good evening from Benicia. The Progressive Democrats of Benicia are meeting now for our February meetings, and it's been postponed, so there's no report. But this is the first time I pulled a Tiffany tonight, the first time that I've done 2 meetings at the same time, and it is quite the skill. But thanks for calling on me. Garamendi said all the right things. I hope we can bring him to one of our meetings soon. Thanks.
All right. Let's see. Rio Vista, I think I saw Karen is here. Do you have a report for us for the Rio Vista Club?
Sure. We also submitted a report, but just to reiterate some of the things that are going on with us, we have new treasurer, Hattie Walker. We also have instituted a new program to get our members more involved, which is called Together Tuesdays, which we'll be doing the first on March 7th, where we'll have coffee and have really good blue and democratic discussions. We're going to alternate those on Tuesdays. One Tuesday we'll have AM this particular month. It'll be AM, and then the following month in April it'll be a PM movie. So we'll have, for instance, maybe a wine tasting or something of that sort for folks who cannot make the AM meetings. The other big thing we've got going on is that we invited Fiona Mount to come and address the residents of Rio Vista. She's agreed to do that on April 27th. So we'll have her in person at one of the area restaurants. We haven't gotten confirmation on which restaurant that will be, or which area or event place that it will be. We're excited to have her come and address us and give us all the information regarding state treasurer. So that's a big thing. And last but not least, we will be looking to do something with the youth of our community. We're looking to find a liaison because we found that a lot of the youth in our community, particularly at the high school area, are Latina. And so we want to affect them, particularly since they have been so instrumental in some of the last elections that we've had nationwide. The youth have made a difference, and we want to give them tools that they can bring so that they can look at what the Democratic Party has to offer them. And that's a report. Thank you.
Thank you. Cassandra, I know you were the representative for the Sankofa Club. Did you have anything for the club to report?
No, they are currently looking for another representative to represent Sankofa.
Okay, cool. I look forward to getting that information. And then Glenn, you have a report for the Solano Democratic Workers Alliance.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Glenn Lovell, President of Solano Democratic Workers Alliance, SDWA. Of course, our most recent work was actually caucusing as a club to develop some and advise on some of the strategic recommendations that we did at the strategic retreat this last Saturday that, of course, the chair, Don, will address later in this meeting at length. But was highly enthused by the conversation, happy to be active participant in it. Our next meeting will be 4th Tuesday of March 28th, 6 p.m. on Zoom. So please feel free to reach out to the club. We can get you connected if you'd like to be active. The SDWA, essentially on 2 tracks over the next several months, because alongside our regular meetings, we'll be convening a couple of special caucuses toward building solidarity between workers and the various segments of the Democratic Party, as well as where there's more options for local policy advocacy. And so we will be gearing up on more strategies and ideas on that front. And in parallel with that, of course, we'll be having conversations regarding strategies to take to CDP at convention in May, and are definitely looking forward to where we can get in on the conversations of policy and party building at that level and in coordination with you. And that would conclude my report.
Thank you. Let's see, Stonewall, do you have a report for this month?
We'll be mailing one in to all the committee after our meeting next week.
Okay, and then if I remember correctly, United Dems, you sent out a written report already, correct?
Correct.
All right. Okay, awesome. Thank you all, and encourage you to the extent possible. Again, the written reports are good, particularly if they do get flipped and sent out in a timely manner. So encourage you to do that. Moving on to business. First item on the agenda I have is the approval letter supporting HR 698. Tom, do you have that available to display?
Just a moment.
And this was a letter worked on by a number of our members and then has been sent out to all of our clubs. I believe that the count was 6 have approved it and the others have it on their agenda to approve. And who's going to be giving the report on that? Jeannie, is that you or
Yes.
Michelle? Or okay. As soon as it comes up.
You want to let me know when you'd like me to start speaking?
I think I just want to make sure it's as soon as it's shared. So feel free to jump in.
Last year, the Democrats in the House of Representatives put forward HR 1808, the assault weapons ban bill. It passed in the House but failed in the Senate. We want to thank Congressman Garamendi for being a sponsor for the bill and for both Congressman Thompson and Garamendi voting in favor of the bill. Representative Cicilline has brought forward another resolution, HR 698, which again addresses the public health and safety crisis brought about by gun violence. This resolution is now in the Judicial Committee and it is important that both Congressman Garamendi and Thompson sign on with their support. To that end, representatives from several clubs within our Central Committee have drafted a letter urging our congressman to support HR 698 and then put it out to all the clubs to ask for their approval to send the letter to them. We want to thank the following clubs for voting to approve the letter: United Democrats of Southern Solano, Rio Vista Democratic Club, Northern Solano Democratic Club, Jewish Democratic Club of Solano, Progressive Democrats of Benicia, who are voting on it tonight, and we expect it to pass, Sankofa Democratic Club of Solano County, Community Democratic Club, Stonewall Democratic Club, and the Solano Democratic Workers Alliance. We respectfully request that the Central Committee vote to approve sending the letter from the clubs and that an additional letter from the Central Committee be sent expressing support for HR 698 as well. Thank you.
All right. Does anyone have any questions or comments they wish to make? So please raise your hand. Michelle, I see your hand up first.
Yeah, I just would like to make a motion on what Jeannie requested, which is that the Central Committee send a letter to Congressmen Thompson and Garamendi expressing support for HR 698 and basically a ban on assault weapons.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second that. It's Paula.
Okay. Then Lynette, I see your hand next.
Thank you. So the motion is that the Central Committee send a letter to both Thompson and Garamendi to support HR 1808.
No,
Is that the number?
The bill has a different number now. It's 698.
Okay, so let's make sure that's in our motion.
The motion was for it to be more general, to specifically support HR 698 and more generally to support a ban on assault weapons.
Okay, so if I could have that repeated, so whatever's in the minutes so that we can make sure that's what we're voting on. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I support it. I just want to make sure we know what we're voting on, that we're not voting on just on the specific bill, but in banning assault weapons in general.
That's right. Both of those things are exactly right.
Point of information, wouldn't that addition of banning assault rifles outright would be an amendment?
I think the motion was that's what I'm was getting clarified, Anna. So the motion is that we send a letter to both of our Congress people to sign on to the current bill, as well as any other bills that may come forward on assault weapons. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay.
Well, I would defer to our author, the maker of the motion, Jeannie, to clarify, but my understanding was to approve the letter in front of us and then have a separate cover letter go out.
Thank you, Don.
Yes. So we wanted to, first of all, make sure that the Central Committee, all of us, vote to approve sending the letter, which all of the clubs participated and approved sending, plus the letter from the Central Committee affirming their support as well. And this is to go out to both Congressman Thompson and Congressman Garamendi. My apologies if I wasn't clear enough when I explained previously.
Okay, it's not that you didn't explain it, you didn't make a motion, and that's what someone's trying to do for you, is make the motion. Michelle was trying to make the motion.
Correct.
Okay, so I think we're good, Don. I think.
I believe we're clear. Tom, did you capture what you needed for the poll?
Right.
Come on. Someone read want to just put in chat.
And you want to have the maker of the motion drop language in chat? Is that your request?
No, I put, oh, sorry, I sent that just to an individual, sorry.
Okay.
That.
Is that an accurate framing of your request? Jeannie in chat? To approve joining as a signer on the letter of support for HR 698 and send a separate letter of support to our congressman?
Michelle, is that close to what you had previously expressed?
Yeah, I think the idea was that the letter from the clubs doesn't come from the Central Committee, but that the Central Committee in their letter, if they want, they can support the club's letter, or the clubs stand on this, saying that, you know, as a Central Committee, we are also in support of passing HR 698 and an assault weapons ban. And so it's a little bit different from what you said, Jeannie. So is that okay with you?
Can you write that motion in the chat, please? I'll copy it verbatim.
Yes, I would appreciate clarity, because my understanding was that we were being asked to support this letter that was sent to us. Carrie, your hand's up.
I know that it might delay things, but wouldn't it be more powerful for all of us to send it together, the Central Committee and all of the charter clubs? So I know I can sign on for the Progressive Dems. We are fully in support of this, but can we take 2 days to make sure that every chartered club is in agreement with the Central Committee in sending this letter? I think a united voice for us all is more powerful.
All the clubs have approved it, Carrie.
Then it should be signed as such.
I think the idea was that and however the wording would be, we figured that'd be up to Dawn, was just simply that either the choice is this, either 2 letters or 1 letter, I think. Either the Central Committee sends this letter and say all the clubs have approved it, or all the clubs sign a letter and the Central Committee sends a separate letter saying that they are in favor of the assault weapons ban. So I think those are the choices that I'm hearing here. I think we can vote on it tonight because all the clubs have approved.
Lynette, I see your hand is up.
Thanks, Don. That's kind of why I raised my hand at the beginning, because this is clear as mud. So I'd like to offer a substitute motion that we approve in concept the presentation that was brought to us tonight, and that the chair and Jeannie get together for specifics to send out on behalf of the Central Committee.
Paula, your hands up.
Yeah, for all that I seconded the original motion, I tend to agree with Carrie that one letter signed by the Central Committee with all of the clubs, since all of the clubs signed on to this, I think that's more powerful if we do it that way.
So my motion is that we agree to this in concept so that we can vote and move on rather than trying to wordsmith it right now. If I can get a second. If not,
But there's
it can
already
die.
a motion on the floor.
I'm submitting a substitute motion. That's all.
Which is in line with parliamentary procedure for substitute motion is seconded.
It seems to have failed for lack of second, so we can continue the discussion.
Okay, Michelle, your hands up.
Yeah, so let me just rephrase mine, okay? And maybe it'll meet all these needs. My motion is that the Central Committee sends a letter in support of HR 698 and includes, as Paula said, that all the clubs have also approved that. However, that is going to be worded. So it'd be one letter from the Central Committee, including the information that all the clubs in the entire county have approved this. Is that clear? Is that clear?
It is clear
to me, and I would second your amended motion.
Okay, is there any discussion on that motion? Lynette, your hand either is still up or is up again. I don't know which. Okay, it's down. Any other discussion on this motion as currently presented? Which is to approve a letter in concept supporting HR 698, substantially similar to the letter that has been sent out to you. I believe that was, we had the motion second. Don't see any discussion, so we can launch the poll for that as soon as it's ready.
So Michelle never said concept. I wrote down exactly what she said. So
I'm typing it right now.
Okay, thank you.
Well, it would be the Central Committee, but yes, if you would copy that in to the poll, Tom, and we can launch it and vote.
I left out one sentence. I apologize. I just put it in the chat.
Chat says that you copy it.
And this is how the bratwurst is made. Okay, is it ready to go, Tom?
Let's hope we haven't hit the limit. Nope.
If you would vote on that, poll, ladies and gentlemen, we would appreciate it.
Hear that everyone has voted. Motion passes.
Thank you all. We will finalize that letter and get it out within the next few days as soon as we get the confirmation from the last few clubs on that. And I will point out that as of a couple of days ago, of the 40 Democratic members of the House from California, 39 of them are co-sponsors of HR 698. Congressman Thompson was the one name out on that list. Moving on to the strategic planning session discussion, we had, as was said earlier, a robust discussion Saturday, talking about the goals that the members present wanted to address in this coming cycle, based on feedback from the executive board. We have talked about doing outreach with various groups, recruiting candidates and building our bench, enhancing our, let me pull up my list here of the other major topics: coalition building, Central Committee outreach, relations with our elected officials, including measures of accountability, increasing our visibility through social media, press, and events, candidate recruitment, and strengthening club party relations, among other things. We talked a lot about how we would achieve these goals, or what we would want to do moving forward to enhance our brand and increase our abilities to work together. We had some very interesting brainstorming operations going on. I think Tom, I believe it was Tom, suggested that we have t-shirts printed with QR codes linking to our website, and other items discussed. Basically, in a nutshell, various methods of enhancing our presence and advancing our agenda in the community and with our elected officials. Before I get on to some specific next steps, I want to ask if any of our members who were present Saturday wanted to chime in with their thoughts on the meeting and and share their opinions about the session. I'm not seeing
Carrie Birdseye has her hand raised.
Carrie. Wait, yours disappeared into your corner of your box. I apologize.
That's okay. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Tiffany. Well, first of all, I want to express my appreciation for everybody that showed up. It's hard to show up on a Saturday, and I think we had really great ideas, but I think that we would have benefited greatly from more people being there. And I know that there's some thought about continuing this type of strategic planning, process. And Don, Chair, I hope that we can continue to have these type of dialogues on where, how we can be more effective. But I want to thank you, Dawn, for a very civil, fair facilitation of our ideas, because who was there? We represented very different parts of the county and diverse perspectives, and it was all very civil and productive. And I hope that this is the beginning of the conversation, because I don't know if we really got to the end of decisions overall. And so I hope that we can spend more time together, whether on Saturdays or whenever it works for a larger group, to come together and ensure that we're the best central committee that we can be.
I appreciate those comments. Not sure how well deserved they are, but thank you for the kind words. And yes, well, our planning will, I think, be an iterative process, obviously, as we constantly evaluate where we're going and what we need to do as our next steps, and make course corrections as necessary. Any other feedback from people who were present? Okay. Not seeing future hands. Couple things that I do want to address right away coming out of that session was the feedback, which I think is well warranted, that our fundraising committee needs to have a concrete goal to aim at for its goals, which means working up a budget for our plans for 23-24. And there are several items to be discussed in that planning out a budget. Again, whether we're going to have one headquarters, two headquarters, no headquarters, whether we're going to simply repeat the same voter contact methods that we've done in the past. We're going to seek to expand it through such things as enhanced phone banking, text banking, mailers, what have you, and diving into those costs. So what I would like to ask us to do is whether we wish to discuss it as a body tonight or direct our finance committee to develop a budget and bring it back to us for approval so that we have our target number for fundraising, so that we know whether it's 40,000, 50,000, 100,000, $1 million, whatever our dreams and ambitions take us, that we've defined that number so that we can plan accordingly. So is there any feedback from anyone or a motion to make that direction to our finance committee? Julia.
I just want to point out something that I pointed out at the meeting. So the costs for the headquarters run about, I think it was $20,000 for 2 of them, with no donations from any other party. The costs for 2 years is about another 20,000, possibly more if the accounting is more because we do more fundraising. So to do 40,000 is it's a push, but thinking about additional things that we would want to do. So I was saying if it was $70,000 over the next 18 months, which is till August 2024, it would be about $10,000 every 3 months of fundraising. So just to keep perspective, it is a lot of money that needs to be raised. And so just keeping that in mind.
Yeah. Tiffany.
And I just want the committee to know that the fundraising cost does not include and really should not include the operational cost for us to continue to do business, such as our Zoom account, storage, or anything like that. It's strictly to go towards what we need to do as far as voter contact and ensuring that we have a GoTV strategic plan. And then also with the fundraising, we need to know what the strategic plan is going to be around that, especially if we're going to try to open up to headquarters again, and or figuring out, mailing literature and things of that nature that we would be supplementing we would be supplementing it and not getting it directly from the state party.
Yeah, I do. Your point's well taken. There's a number of factors that need to be discussed by the finance committee, including, although I'd say quite frankly, is the fact that our dues alone do not cover our operational costs, so that our planning for fundraising needs to include covering those operational costs, or conversely, look at how we can minimize those costs and be thrifty and have less costs. So with that, I would entertain direction from the body to our finance committee. As in a motion to direct our finance committee to develop a budget for 23-24. The chair should not make a motion, so someone else should make a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Motion was made by Bonnie, seconded by Glenn. Discussion on that motion. I'm seeing no hands. Okay, as soon as Tom can develop it, that poll. We will launch it. And those of you who have signed up for the finance committee will be contacted. We may draft more of you to join the finance committee to help with that process moving forward, so that we can bring that back in a timely fashion and improve that, assuming the vote is yes.
So, Don?
Yeah.
So was that to draft a annual budget or just a budget?
Draft, my preference would be to draft a budget for the 23-24 cycle. Taking us through the election in November 2024.
Okay, so it's have the finance committee draft a budget for the 2023 to 2024 cycle. Here. Is that it?
And that's my request. And I believe that was the motion made essentially.
Just real quick, are people seeing the poll?
I saw it and voted.
Okay, I'm just not seeing the response.
Yes.
Okay. Another little bit. Okay, you're gonna go ahead and end it. Well, looks like Zoom had a little connection there. I'm gonna have to relaunch the poll because it said it had a send error.
Okay.
Never saw that before. Still having an issue sending that one. Looks like the sausage making machine is having a problem. Give me just one moment. Okay, looks like it came through.
Okay.
No need to relaunch.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I will just repeat what I said Saturday. For those of you who have access to pricing information about some of the tools we talked about, whether it's text banking or enhanced phone banking tools or software, and some of the other items, if you would get that information gathered and send it to Paula as the ex officio chair of the finance committee, I would appreciate that.
Also, please include me as the IRA.
So the other item that I wanted to bring forward tonight, one of our discussions that was the importance of building out our coalitions with our partner organizations and stakeholders who join us in the work of advancing a progressive or liberal agenda and policy preferences and electing good people to office. It's something we talk about regularly, but I know it's also something that doesn't always go as far as we'd like. And it was suggested that we make this a priority. And I heartily concur. And I would like to ask this body to agree to forming an outreach committee. And I would like to ask Tiffany if she would be willing to chair that, because I know it's a subject near and dear to her heart.
Yes,
Approved.
yes. Oh, I have to make a motion?
Well, you can make a motion or you can put somebody's arm to make the motion, but I think it's an important thing that you brought up. I know we've discussed in the past, but it's valuable for us to do that outreach to our fellow stakeholders. So if you wish to make the motion, feel free.
I motion that the Central Committee create a outreach committee in order to better collaborate with other organizations on democratic values.
All right, thank you. Lynette, your hands up.
Yes, I second that motion.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none. As soon as Tom is ready, we will launch the poll, and then I will ask members to please communicate with Tiffany and CC myself about joining on. We'd like to have a good cross-section of the community from all parts of the county and various organizations on that to help spread the word of doing that outreach, because we have a lengthy list of stakeholders that could be part of the process. And I don't want to leave it on one or two people to try to do the outreach to all of them.
I'm gonna launch the poll now. Ten seconds left to get your votes in. Motion passes.
Thank you all, and thank you again, Tiffany, for agreeing to take this challenge on. I appreciate it. Before we move on from the strategic planning session, I do want to also say that for our members, I sent out a list of the elected officials in Solano County. As of right now, I understand there's some seats that are soon to be vacant or soon to be filled, and as that changes, please let us know. But I want to highlight the races that are coming up in 2024. It's not too early to check in with our incumbents to see whether they're running again, or to help recruit challengers for those non-Democrats on that list. And I will also point out the obvious that we will have an open US Senate race and an open state Senate race. You are all, of course, free to support the Democrat of your choice. I will emphasize the word Democrat of your choice in that race. But as you do enthusiastically support Adam or Katie or Barbara or Roe or whoever's running, remember to uplift your candidate instead of attacking the opponent, and don't take the race personal. Whoever comes out on top, I have no doubt will be a good Democrat. And we need to remember at the end of the day that we want to have a good Democrat elected that we can all support and not be sulking for 2 or 4 or 6 years because our Democrat didn't win. So I'll just put that cautionary tale out there as we begin the election cycle. Next up, I have the fundraising committee doing a report, and the first item is the approval of the this year's replacement for our crab feed. I have Shindig as an asterisk item because I don't know what we're calling it yet, but I'm sure they will.
Through the
let
chair,
know.
Don,
Yeah.
may I? Glenn has his hand up.
Glenn.
Thank you, Kari, and thank you, Chair. Yeah, no, just wanted to very quickly reiterate and echo the comments made earlier, thanking everyone who participated in the strategic planning back last Saturday. Thank you again, Don, for leading a very substantive and I think productive conversation, and for every one of you and every one of us that were part of that. Definitely looking forward. We know that the continued development and implementation is so critical for the big election and all the associated party building we want to do through 2024. And I know that a lot of that heavy lifting is coming up in these various committees. And so very excited for the process moving forward. So thank you again, Don, and everyone else.
Thank you. And who is leading the discussion on the annual? Is that Julia or you, or is it Vernil?
It's for Neil.
Okay, well, Vernil, take it away.
Okay, good evening again. Tom, are you ready to go with me on the slides? Tom? Is he here?
Yes, I am, and just
Okay, while he's doing that, we've had a committee that met several times so far, and we put together a proposal for a fundraiser. We heard why the year 2024 is a big one for big races and local races. So these are some of the, this is one of the proposals that we are presenting to you tonight. And like I said, most of this is proposal and it's assumption. So our proposed name for this event is Art in the Park / Barbecue in the Park. We are talking about having various artists come in and display their wares in terms of auction, but that comes later in the planning. I just want to get the basic out to let you guys, let the committee know that we have been working toward doing something to raise funds. Okay, the next slide, please. The date is Saturday, May 20th. We haven't set a time, but it will be between 11 and 5. Again, that's an assumption. The location is Allen Witt Park. Out of all the venues we checked with, it was the cheapest. We checked in with Famous Creation for the catering. We still have to determine the artists and get elected best guest speakers. The estimated cost of this event is $8,175. We expect to bring in $15,950 with a total net of $7,775. Next slide, please. The venue, again, Allen Witt, it's an all-day reservation, 25 tables with bench seating. The sound and security permit and rental permit, it's $1,085. The maximum capacity is 200, and it will include the barbecue area, additional setup for tables, and then again, of course, you can bring your own outdoor chairs. Next slide, please. Famous Creation is the caterer that I have been in conversation with. Price per person is $30. It's this, they call it their chicken and beef combo, which consists of chicken and tri-tip, salad, and 2 sides. They will also provide the linens and tableware. Bar and drinks. The beer is approximately $30 for a 24-pack at Costco. Wine is between $5 and $10 for a 750 milliliter bottle Cost per drink is approximately $1.50, and we would sell it for $5. Non-alcoholic drinks, $10 per 24 pack of sparkling water, $15 per pack of, I think it's soda, because I can't see behind something. And the sale price would be $1 of each of these beverages. Included drinks equal $5 per 30 bottles of water. Total cost of drinks for 200 is approximately $315. Cups are $40. Next slide, please. Other costs will include the ABC day permit to sell the wine and beer. Insurance is an estimated cost of $300, and programs, probably one-page programs with $340 for printing. Now, these are only estimates, so some of this could be donated as well. Next slide, please. Sponsorships and tickets. Single ticket, again, approximate $50. Power couple, these are different sponsorship levels. We haven't really got into that and defined it. But power couple, $150, half a table, $400, and a table is $1,000. So, but we're looking at perhaps, the elected officials to be some of the big sponsors, especially of that year. Revenue estimates, 124 standard tickets, 4 half table sponsors, 5 full table sponsors, 100 beer and wine sales, 100 non-alcoholic alcoholic beverage sales, and 20 silent auction items, approximately $40 each. Next slide, please. And that's it. So tonight the ask is, I have gone up and visited at Allenwood Park, and they will require a deposit before they would let us have that day of May 20th. So the ask tonight is that we can have seed money to go and hold the deposit, as well as vote if you want to have this event. Tiffany, I see your hand up. I'm sorry, Don, the president.
Yeah, Tiffany, your hand was up.
I apologize. I pressed the wrong button. I was ready to make the motion.
Okay. Tom, your hand's up.
I'd like to make the motion that we authorize a budget of up to, but not over, $8,500 for this event, because based on the estimate that Vernell and Julia's provided.
Is there a second for that motion?
I'll second.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
The only thing is, should we add a little bit of flexibility in case prices change for some reason?
That's actually, my motion is $400 over their ask.
Okay, that's fine.
I will note that to the best of my knowledge, the Central Committee has an insurance policy, so that particular cost won't be there. The only other concern I have is that obviously we are authorizing spending of money we do not currently have. And so for those of you who are gun shy, just be aware of that. It's not currently in our coffers. Julia.
So probably should have asked this when I was doing the presentation. Is the Famous Creations requiring a deposit to secure the date? If so, how much, and when would the final amount be due?
And that I don't have an answer to, but I'm sure there will be a deposit. I guess my urgency is securing the location, because that's a hot graduation season, May 22nd, and it's $375 for the whole day. in both those sections. But no, I don't have an answer to your question.
Okay, Bonnie, your hand's up.
Hi, just a question. You mentioned that there would be place settings. My only request would be that we try to be as waste-free as possible in whatever we choose to do. So, you know, trying to avoid plastic and compostable things. So just keeping that in mind, and also thinking about, you know, water and that sort of thing, and just how do we use less plastic in what we're doing. So that would be my only addition.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Are there any other questions or discussion? Carrie, I see your hand.
Does that mean that we buy glasses? I know that I've done that on my campaign a couple times where I went to the dollar store, I bought a bunch of glasses. It's labor intensive, but it gets us away from throwing all the plastic out.
Julia?
Just to answer that, I do believe that the tableware that would be provided is all like reusable dishware that would be taken and washed and reused elsewhere. So it'd be rented. The cups can be paper. So it doesn't have to be plastic. The only thing that gets difficult is when you get into the plastic bottles of water. I have not actually seen a cost-effective alternative to that.
Through the chair, no one likes to drink wine out of a paper cup.
I have lots of glasses that I'm certainly welcome to donate for the use.
Well, in the committee, we will take all that into consideration in our future planning. We will, and because Bonnie, you know, I know your feelings about this. So yes.
I would say that those who wish us to be zero waste, encourage you to participate in the planning.
Yes.
You know, it's not a somebody should, it's I will do sort of thing. We need to keep that in mind. Tom?
I'd like to call the question.
Okay, yeah, we had no further hands up. So if everyone is ready, and just to reiterate, my understanding, and you can correct me, is that the motion is to improve the entire budget for this project at 8,500. Is that correct?
Up to 8,500. Doesn't mean they have to spend it.
No, we won't. We won't.
Okay. That, as soon as you're ready to launch the poll.
Okay, looks as if everyone has voted. Motion passes.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank my committee and especially Julia for the PowerPoint presentation. But thank you. We hope to have a fun event.
I will simply caution the committee to, as I mentioned, we do not have the full amount currently in our coffers. So please coordinate carefully with our treasurer to make sure that we can pay bills as they come due. Thank you. Do you have anything on future fundraising events beyond this event to discuss tonight? You're muted.
I'm not ready to discuss. There are a couple of digital ones I would like to present. I need to talk with my cohort in the South, Tiffany.
Okay, cool. Well, we look forward to hearing about those as well. Thank you. And thank you all for a good presentation tonight on that. Does anyone have any items from the floor that they wish to raise at this time? I don't see any hands up. I do want to remind people that a short time ago, our information resource officer sent out a link to have you update your roster information so that we can send out a current roster for people. Not everyone has done so. If you have not updated your contact information, please click on the link. I'm sure he'll be sending it out again soon so that we can provide a correct and current roster listing everybody. Also, with that in mind, given the changes that are going on and some alternates are changing positions and whatnot, encourage you to update your alternate status. Make sure if you choose to have an alternate, that you have a current appointment letter on file. I ask that the letter include the contact information for your alternate, that they be a registered Democrat in Solano County, and that your letter include a statement saying they are authorized to vote in your absence, so that we're complying with the letter of the law in that regard. So please make sure if you're having an alternate that that information is current and you update your roster information. I did forget to mention at the top of the meeting that Vernil Brumfield was elected both as a Central Committee rep and then as an ADEM rep. She chose the ADEM seat. So we put our next highest vote getter on our list of delegates. And I am hoping I was correct in listing Carrie Birdseye. I believe that was our count. So congratulations to Carrie as our delegate. And the remaining alternates will be moving up accordingly on that. And as the information comes out, remember, as always, if you are not able to attend the convention, Central Committee delegates must choose another Central Committee member as their proxy. ADEMs, of course, can choose any registered Democrat within the district. So just keep that in mind as we get closer to the convention. Vernil, is there anything you wanted to share with us?
No, I would like to add with the convention, because it's in a very expensive location, that downtown LA, and airfare has gone up. I had to go home for a death, and from Sacramento Airport to LAX was $350 round trip. So so you guys need to start looking out for the airfares and hotels. Very expensive, especially that time of year, the holidays. It's around, wasn't it May 25th when
yeah,
the convention is? So you're caught in Memorial Day holiday prices. Just wanted to share that tip.
And I do, on behalf of the Central Committee, express my condolences again to Vernil and to Lynette for the recent passing of members of their family. Our thoughts are with you. And as most of you are aware, tomorrow there will be a memorial service for Mayreen Bates, former County Board of Education member, longtime Democratic volunteer, recipient of our Wyman Riley Award. The A memorial, if I remember correctly, will be beginning at 10 a.m. out at Solano Community College. They'll having a memorial there. And there will be a reception at 2 o'clock at the County Event Center. In between the memorial and the reception, they will be transporting Ms. Bates to her committal site up at the National Cemetery in Dixon. So
And
it'll. Go ahead, Vernell.
Oh, it's in building 1400. And
Yes. And free parking in parking lot 2, if I remember correctly, what I was told. And then Bonnie, I see your hands up.
Hi, yeah, just in honor to all those folks, but I do want to also, this was on the other topic that Vernell brought up, and I believe that the state party will have a block of rooms at the hotel, I'm going to assume, or at a hotel.
They customarily do so, and I would just, for those of you who are first-time delegates, those rooms go within minutes of being released, typically. So you'll want to jump right on that. Lynette.
Yes, with regard to the convention coming up, it is at LA Live. Across the street is the Residence Inn. I think it's called the Residence Inn. It's a Marriott property that is directly across the street from the conventions, from the LA Live Marriott, where the conference will be held. There's also a Westin down the street and several other small properties within walking distance of the hotel. And as Don said, as soon as it goes up, they go away. So register early and register to get your room as fast as you can. Even if you change your mind, get your room, and there'll be somebody that will happily take it off of your hand if you're in the main hotel. So, and our new delegates, our new AD electeds, be ready. I think that's when you guys start your term. And there's also one other thing, Don, I just thought about is that those people that were elected to ADEMs are also eligible to to apply for committee. And you have to be an ADEM or on the executive committee to be able to apply for those positions.
So again, look into all the opportunities available to you to service at the state party level. I won't belabor the point this evening because I know we've had a very productive meeting and some of us probably still haven't had supper yet. Well, at least I know one of us has. Are there any other items anyone wishes to bring up? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn, Chair.
Okay, I heard a motion.
Second.
I think I heard a second. So all those in favor?
Say bye.
Thank you all. And we will see you at our next meeting.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.